Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Sunday, the 1st of December. Well, disappointing day on the horses. It started very well with a horse that I took 12s on. I know it went to 20s and I think it returned 14s. Looked like actually winning. Something George it was called. Ran very well. Unfortunately, it was a mixed bag after that. Disappointing day. I know some people weren't exactly over enthused by the bet that I had, but I don't think it would have mattered what bet I'd had. The horse didn't run well enough. It was always a risk with Cahier because there was 8 runners. Unfortunately, yes, it did go down to 7, and yes, unfortunately, it did come third, which is always the case. I think I was right, as in I did believe one of the favourites could get beat. I thought it would be the other way around. I thought Sergino would get beat, but it ran an okay race, and I think it turned out, in my opinion, to be a dreadful race. Um, I also didn't expect Cahier to lead. Not as though it probably wouldn't have made any difference. I thought it would have used its 1 mile 4 furlong tactical pace to sit right behind or sit off the pace and pounce late. But it doesn't matter because it was yesterday and not today. So it was a losing day on the horses. However, for those of you that are trying to advise to, if you are going to follow me, follow the all the bets. Well, the football came up. The over 2.5 and over three and a half goals came up. So in total, it was £10 on for the football. It returned £92, and the horses it was 30, 29, about £39, I think it was, and it was about £2 back, I think. So yeah, it happens. Dreadful on the horses, very good on the football. So let me get on to Sunday selections. So 10 pence each way, lucky 15, and £1 each way accumulator. It's tricky racing, but I do like the angles of these. I'm actually looking forward to the all weather tomorrow, Wolverhampton. I know it's a tricky card anyway because of the the riders. But um, yeah, it's poor racing at the moment. Even the fighting fifth hurdle, it's been dreadful for years. We're watching odds on shots normally, um, beating horses that are well below them on the handicap mark. So let me get into Sunday's selection. So the first selection is Perculator in the 12.20 at Carlisle, and it's paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse is about 8 to 1 or tens, somewhere around there. So this horse, it's a bit hard to read the entire card because I normally go by what they've achieved in the past and the handicap marks currently above the official rating to see if it's in form or not. Well, it's one of those races where it's odd viewing when you look at the official rating and the handicap. Sorry, the official rating and the Racing Post rating, because a lot of the Racing Post ratings are below the handicap marks. So this horse, in my opinion, it 2 runs ago it won. Its next run it was upped to 3 mile, and I don't think it stays 3 mile. That's why it only gave an okay performance. So the only good thing about it is it hasn't. It's either gone up slightly in the weights or hasn't gone up too much or stayed on the same mark. But what I think is, I think you could put a line through the last run, and if this horse gets an easy lead or it's in a pack of 3 that might go clear from the early stages, I think this horse will be quite difficult to beat because, in my opinion, it won't be coming back at the end. It's a staying horse, anywhere from 2.5 to nearly 3 mile. This is 2 mile 3.5 furlong at Carlisle. If the leaders get away, it could be hard to peg back. But as you're well aware, I'm completely unaware of what tactics they'll use. But this horse, if it's sat last and it's going well, I don't fancy it. If it's in the first 3, it's exactly how I read the race. As long as they haven't gone off too quick, if it's in the first 3, it'll be hard to keep out of the frame. The second selection is Moviddy in the 115 at Leicester. This is currently 8 runners, which is tricky, but I do like the look of it. It's a lot shorter than I thought it would have been. I was expecting about 6 to 1. It's 7 to 2 currently. So what I expect about this horse is, first of all, I expect an improvement on what it's done so far. It hasn't been dreadful what it's done, but it's just been a bit lazy, and it's run twice this season, or twice recently. The first run, it didn't jump very well. The second run, basically, it got lost. It got lost. It rallied, and then it made some headway, but it was still well beaten. So the angle I'm going at is they normally run with a tongue strap and cheek pieces on. For those two runs, they took them off. For the runs prior to that, they were worn and it showed better form. That tongue strap and those cheek pieces are back on for this race, so I expect an improvement. Is it good enough to win the race? I don't know, but 7-2. Yeah, well, obviously we can't afford it not to come out the first three, but ideally it needs to win. Um, I'd like to think it's going to be a bigger price than that, but the fact that it's 7-2 now, I get the impression it could be shorter, but I'm not prepared to take the risk, so I'm going to leave the price. The third selection is Cahier's Den in the 125 at Carlisle. So this is a bit of a tricky race. It's one of those where I like to look at the novice hurdles, and I like to try and oppose the horses that have won in the past because they get a £6 penalty. So there are two of those in this race because there was a danger. I can't remember its name now. It's I think it was a Mark Walford trained horse, about the third favourite. Well, it won last time. It's a name that's all together. Um, so I thought that was a danger, but then I noticed that it had won last time, not done a huge Racing Post rating figure, but it's now carrying a penalty, and I think that penalty makes it look vulnerable. The favourite has also, or the current favourite, has also got a £6 penalty. But I actually think the first two are head and shoulders above the rest of the field. I think the second, I'm not tipping this, but I think the second favourite is probably the most obvious winner at something like, I think it's about 13-8, I think, because it's basically a winner without a penalty. It, it ran in a race and lost by a short head, I think it was a short head in a novice hurdle. That's basically, um, if it had been a head further in front, it would have won the race, but it would have received a £6 penalty. So therefore, it's like jackpot, a winner without a penalty, because it only lost by the second shortest margin, a short head. So as I said, it's kind of pretty much won the race, but for today's race now, it doesn't carry a penalty, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's a very good angle for that horse. But I do. I couldn't pick a winner in this race. That's obviously why I've gone for an each way selection. So Cahier's Den ran well last time, and I think it's got a chance. I think it's decent value in the race to say it's not a million miles behind the third favourite on Racing Post ratings. It should appreciate the step up in trip, and I believe it's Brian Hughes and Donald McCain again. So yeah, it's after the three selections so far, Cahier's Den is probably my least fancied, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just the vibe I'm getting. The fourth selection is Snapius in the 145 at Leicester. I think this horse has got a bit of a chance. I think it's running gradually into form, and I mean gradually into form. It's not running well, but it's running gradually into form, in my opinion. Three outings ago, and it ran an absolute shocker. Two outings ago, it ran a shocker, and last time it ran poorly. But it's gradually. This is how out of form it is. However, and this is the reasoning behind it, which is going to be very brief and very basic. The trainer is in unbelievable form at the moment. James Owen is absolutely flying. Anything he seems to send out seems to run absolute crackers, whether it's on the all-weather or whether it's his novice hurdlers. So I think this horse has definitely got a chance. It's currently 8-1. The stable, like I said, is in very good form. And this horse is gradually booking its ideas up. It's not a winner waiting to happen, but it's gradually running into a little bit of form, and his handicap mark is plummeting in the meantime. So I think there's four interesting selections. Let me know in the comments what you're having or whether you disagree. And let me know in the comments if you want a football bet. I'm not planning on having a football bet, and I don't even know how many selections there are, matches there are, but I'm guessing it's the FA Cup still. So if anybody wants a football bet, let me know, and I shall put it in the description later on. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.